place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7 a.m. and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, beautiful view here on the outside, looking just at the Esplanade area there, giving you a sense of what's happening in downtown Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Adana Combi. This is the day that the Lord has. You will be glad in it. And yes, that was a beautiful shot there of the Esplanade Scarborough. Right here, Scarborough, Tobago. Are we home? The beauty all in Scarborough, Tobago, as we you about things happening in and around Tobago. Good morning, Julian. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Adana. How have you been? How have you been? What's happening in the Adana?
As you can to state. So yes, I'm doing well from a sore throat. You know what they call a crapo in your throat, as we say here in Tobago. But I am doing quite well. Adana land is good. You know, just preparing some workshops. I train. Just preparing for that as we have type of training season. But yes, Adana is well. How is Julian? What's happening in Julian City?
Quite good. You know, it's an active time. It's an active season.
Yes, of course.
Make sure I'm on the outside there. Each and every one of you, for each and every one of you, exciting times coming up in the lineup. You know, the discussion and the realities. We are at the last Tuesday in January. Yes, folks, we are getting closer to that. We forward to make it over this grand hurdle of the 365 days that appear to be in the month of January. But certainly it's a good time. You know, as I say, we continue to give God thanks for life. The fact that we're alive, whoa, I'm here to celebrate and I'm thankful for it every the day, but I'm just happy to be here to face it most definitely, and we ought to be able to give thanks, because certainly in the midst of life we have the challenge that comes most obviously with death. And so too this morning at Tobago, and you know, and large, even beyond just Tobago, certainly mourning the passing of Auntie Keneta. You know, as I would have known her coming through Scarborough Secondary School. She worked with my mom down there for some time, and then I had the opportunity of actually going to school there part before, you know, getting to know her. And so definitely Auntie Keneta Bob, cultural icon, educator, really has made her impact here on Tobago, distinguished a contribution over the years. And you know, we really take the opportunity, coming from my entire family, and by extension the Tobago Updates family, to really send condolences out to the family and friends of Auntie Keneta Bob. It's as though I can't wrap my mind around saying Miss or any other formal titles, but you just know her as Auntie Keneta. Indeed, you know, a sad time for us.
But you know, it's something to look back on all the impartation she made on your life. You know, growing up with Auntie Keneta, doing theatrical and drama for heritage festivals, preparing me for the stage, because I used to be on the stage for heritage, and you know, she would teach us the lingo. No, you have to do it this way and you have to do it that way to deliver your contribution to whether it's a drama or whatever it might be. You know, she had this maternal way about her. I remember in Scarborough Sec as well, she taught me. She was my home ec teacher, and we were baking cakes. I would never forget, we were doing marble cakes, and red was my favorite color at that time, and so I thought I would bring the red color in because everybody had to bring something. Mr. Skeet, I emptied a bottle of red coloring in the cake. Auntie Keneta was like, Miss Come. It was just the way that she did it. But I mean, she was correcting me, but she was so motherly and maternal and loving about the way she did it, you know. So more than just a stalwart in the culture department, she was also a mother, a nurturer, a carer, somebody who actually cared about people. And if she saw you on the nation's roads and you were acting out of character, she would rope you in and say, hey, because back then it took a village to raise a child, and she was a village for everybody's child, you know. And you know, it's just looking at her here now, it's just so nostalgic, you know, seeing Auntie Keneta, just being a part, just having any type of experience with her is an experience worth talking about. It's an experience. I was speaking to a younger person, and I said, did Auntie teach you? And they were like, no, who is that? And I was like, listen, we need to teach our people about these, our stalwarts, about these people who contributed to our development we are today on this of Tobago, you know.
And you know, I also want to highlight the fact that she would have received several awards.
That's right.
And particularly, you know, I had the benefit of having some background knowledge of the work that went into naming of Kevin out there in the mix.
Yes.
Keisha, you're seeing there as well, Keisha Jack, and certainly a former assemblyman and then secretary. Jack, a team really that to on her the flowers and the recognition while she was here.
That's right.
Most certainly, and she did. And I want to call all who made the extra effort. You know that Kevin in the to get that kind of support in order for the renaming of what is now known as the Keneta Drag. Kudos and
something I think the flowers there, and with that thing that is called honor is something that we need to get back to. We need to honor ourselves, honor our people, and show them the love that they deserve for their culture. It is in a carry on. So the team there that went, you know, above and beyond to ensure this happened, and I want us to continue with the ones who are still here with us. Let us show them that love. All have been still in us.
Yeah, definitely. So once again, we send out condolences to the family of Keneta Bob. As Tobago certainly look forward to continue to celebrate life and all that she has imparted on us. At this point, viewers, we on into our news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Adana. Here is in 90 seconds, Tuesday, January 2024. Tobago mourns the loss of cultural stalwart, educator and historian Keneta Bob. The news of her passing was shared via Secondary Alumni Association page yesterday. As former teacher at the Scarborough Secondary School, Bob earned recognition as Tobago's teacher icon from the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association in 2018. Additionally, Catholic Trace in Scarborough Calder Hall District was renamed in her honor. In August 2020, she was awarded by the Tobago Empowerment Alliance Mission Incorporation for mentoring numerous students in cultural arts. Tobago Motorsports Association condemns the rise drifting incident within Tobago's main Rich Forest Reserve as seen in a video circulating on social media. This activity was not sanctioned by the Tobago Motorsports Association, according to its president Dexter Sandy. It prompted an emergency meeting to discuss disciplinary actions against those involved. Tobago Motorsports reject the use of public roads without proper authorization, particularly within protected areas, and underscores the importance of adherence to legal regulations. The association said it remains committed to promoting responsible motorsport in Tobago, stressing the importance of discipline and environment respect among its members. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Discussions covered energy education, crime prevention, and national security with particular focus on firearm trafficking. They address historical and emergency issues related to Venezuela, cybersecurity, and Haiti's instability. Dr. Rowley also discussed an economic partnership with the U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai. The United States remains Trinidad and Tobago's largest trading partner. Several government officials, along with Chief of Defense Staff of Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force Air Vice Marshal Darrell Daniel, at meetings. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much there, Abiana, bringing us the news in 90 seconds. Viewers, we're heading on into our birthday shout-outs here on Tobago Updates.
And on screen and celebrating a birthday is my friend. Yes, this is my friend, Rensil Sebro. Happy birthday, Rensil. I hope you are viewing and I hope you are hearing me telling you happy birthday. I want to wish you a very happy birthday today. And I know that celebrations will last the entire week. So I want to wish you all the very best. Happy birthday. All of us. Don't get in there. This is my other friend. This other person is my friend as well. My good friend. Yes, happy birthday. If anybody knows the name Annette birthday today, we want to send a special, a very special, one of our own, Annette Wood. Happy birthday, my darling.
I got to dive into this.
Go ahead.
Because I know
ahead.
faithful viewers and supporters of Tobago Updates. Lovely going. Indeed, a gem. I know without a shadow of a doubt, Ronald is making all the plans
to make this day extra special. That's right.
Definitely, indeed. We're going to permit him not to have to watch all day, but we're going to get some from watching to focus to ensure that you are enjoy the full celebrations. Wishing you a happy birthday and continued blessings.
Right, and on screen right now, celebrating also is Sheila Duke Summers. A happy birthday from the Susolans crew. Yes, the entire crew at Susolans. They want to wish you a happy birthday today, Sheila. We do hope that you enjoy your day. We do hope that Susolans come out and celebrate you today on your birthday. And we pray God's blessings upon your life as you celebrate and enjoy your birthday today. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, and certainly viewers are, in the midst of life and enjoying the celebrations, there is always the reality, and we spoke a little earlier on in relation to Auntie Keneta Bob, and similarly news also coming to hand at the national level. The name Galbaransingh, if you are old enough, has also passed on. He would have passed away, and certainly we send our condolences going out to the entire family out there. And if you're not aware any at all, you know, a gentleman certainly having some direct connections to Tobago here, if my information is accurate, associations with the Legrand and Grafton hotel on this end here on the island, and certainly making investments right here in Tobago, you know, making that contribution. And of course, if you're old enough, you certainly recall the name in the whole controversial airport scandal at Piaco. But certainly, you know, it's come to this point where he has passed on, and we want to wish the very best to the family, and particularly to send our condolences at this time coming from the entire Tobago Updates family. And it was interesting that you know, in following the information with the passing and details coming to hand, that I would have had the benefit of hearing from a former minister, Devant Maharaj, indicating that, you know, Ish, as somebody who visited the island and lived here for some time and back and forth regularly, was one of those persons who actually reached out to him in his time as minister with responsibility for transportation, to impress upon him the need to have that late flight. That late flight coming to Tobago, you know, and very interesting because we are yet to see the return.
That's right.
Of things like that, because we are back to a time where your last flight to Tobago is, you know, just after news time, as I like to call it.
It's crazy.
You know, and certainly not necessarily practical for the person who may have late business or late events or engagements.
That's right.
To do and be able to head straight back to the airport. So you're forced to overnight in Trinidad. And really, we are hopeful that that is something that Caribbean Airlines, we continue to demand and to make that request. You know, not the troubles that we see for us with Trinidad. Give us that late flight back. I'm trying to say it as peacefully as I can. You know, give us this necessary for us to be back and forth. Would constantly remind you of that. Even if you don't want to go back to midnight, make it at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the night, something that allows for you know, that opportunity even for persons coming in from abroad.
International flights, that's right.
International flights arriving at Piaco, and then you're forced to either stay at Piaco again, find accommodation in nearby, additional cost to be incurred simply to get to Tobago. So we are asking, give consideration to the return of that late flight. Once again, to accommodate that flow of traffic between Trinidad and Tobago, particularly for those of us that come across for business and are required to return home, or those of us coming in from abroad and would like to return straight home as best as possible. So that's our call tonight. In fact, that's our call today for Caribbean Airlines to return that late flight tonight to ensure that we have that kind of access. All right, Adana, who do we have coming up on the rundown this morning?
Right, this morning we begin our conversation with Diane McCrimmon. I hope I said it correctly. This is the chairman of Tobago Band Leaders Association, and we're talking Tobago Band Leaders on Carnival 2024. We're going to see where they are with that and how the progression is going. We also speak with Kashif Greaves, Senior Manager, Marketing and Promotions at B Mobile, and we're talking B Mobile, B Square, the Tobago edition, of course. Those are our conversations in studio with our guests, so we ask you to stay with us as we have these conversations, and you're going to hear a little bit more about Auntie Keneta, as Julian and I have already discussed this morning, you know, honoring who she is. And of course, we want to invite Biana in this part.
It's so important to bring Biana.
Into this part.
Biana, I'm recalling our Scarborough Sec days. In fact, I am here wondering, did Biana do home economics at Scarborough Sec? But we'd like to have Biana come up on screen here with us this morning. Biana, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you this morning?
Good this morning. But you know, a bit of sad news. Your thoughts, you know, as you got into preparing and getting the realities of that news story and wind of the passing of Auntie Keneta.
Well, it was a bit shocking to hear that, you know, she passed away, but she would have had a little influence in my life in the first year in Scarborough Secondary School in the home and economics area. So, you know, at that time, you had to wear your ribbons. So, this particular day, I did not wear the ribbon, and you was not allowed to enter the classroom. So you stand up outside there here, and she teaching the class, and no ribbon because you can't enter the classroom. Yeah, so yes, it was really indeed a good, you know, stint at Scarborough Secondary School with her.
Yeah, and I also recall vividly the kind of interaction even between Auntie Keneta and Dr. Mark, Auntie Eastland Mackenzie as well. And you know, it's as early as Sunday. I saw her, she was busy at church there, Scarborough Methodist, with the children's story, and I just remember that level of interaction from the both of them. Most certainly, you know, Auntie Keneta had that kind of impact on your life, and yes, just as Bianna is saying, that kind of stickler with the disciplinary side.
Because I'm telling you, she was really a disciplinarian, but she did it in such a way that didn't make you feel offended, or it didn't make you feel as if, oh my gosh, I did something terrible. You would know that you misstepped, but you'd also feel love and you'll feel embraced, and you'll tell yourself, listen, I cannot do this again because I'm not going to disappoint Auntie Keneta. I'm going to make sure. I'm sure you never forgot your ribbon after that.
After that, no.
It was interesting that at Scarborough Sec, where the home economics class is positioned was right by the entrance for the school.
Yes.
So could you imagine, even if you're late or you're trying to get out on the outside, you get pie by Wendy.
Yes.
I lose something on the outside. Yes. Auntie Keneta was sure to be that one. In fact, sometimes I just heard the voice. I just heard the voice giving that reminder, you know, where am I off to? And calling out the students from there, because she would have that strategic view right from in the home economics classroom there. Certainly a stalwart and one we want to recognize and to continue to celebrate for such a great contribution taking place here in Tobago and impacting so many lives. Impacting so many lives. Certainly we recognize this morning Auntie Keneta Bob. She has passed on, but certainly her legacy lives on.
That's right. And she had this way she used to, like, when she would call you from the gate, she was like, you. And you know, she had that expression because she was so expressive and theatrical, so she would ensure that, you know, you are the one she's calling, come here, you know. So she was just always, she was so infectious, you know. She had an infectious personality, the way she embraced you. So we really celebrate her life this morning, and we just want to send some love to her family members this morning to let them know that we love you, we loved her, and we love you. We enjoyed you because of her, you know. So we just want to share that condolences with you, and to let you know that you are loved, and Auntie Keneta was loved by so many of us.
All right, viewers, at this point we're heading on out to break, and we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the life, share the life, share the life.
If you want to feel alive, then switch to the winning side. You see how we move in style. Is a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe with Be Mobile.
Come and see what Brandy could get. See what Brandy could get. Come and see what Brandy could, see what Brandy could, see what Brandy could get. All of the brand the best, all of the brands the best. Come and see what Brandy could, see what Brandy could.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Ansa Makal Group.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Say don't mind you and your glass. I feel complete with it. I don't just talk. We up with drinks to my heart and we say shots to the head, hit the liver. We drink plenty liquor. We don't play with it. We drink, we don't play with it. Send shots to the head, hit the liver. We drink plenty liquor. We don't play with it. We drink, we don't play with it. In my grey suit with the grey goose, give them a straight groove with the same moves. Make a half minute but me stay cool. Mix the whiskey with the grapefruit then punch the punching with the same movement. Head to one fet and match up two fets. Them a say me tongue something confuse them. And them can't.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, folks, important that issues affecting us as it relates to crime. And yesterday we would have had the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association hosting their crime talks right here, and certainly an opportunity to really get a perspective. And this was their first time in Tobago, and it was hosted on the Esplanade. And this morning we certainly want to get an opportunity to bring some of the details forward to you in this pre-recorded segment.
Thank you very much. I think it has all been said this evening. I am finger-lickingly delighted to be here, although I don't work for Kentucky. I work for the church. And let me start with Sergeant Morris, because I see I'm nearly killing the cameraman. But let me start with Sergeant Morris. I am a firm believer that we have got to see the strengths in each other. So I want to talk this evening about the other side. And I'm using you as my springboard. All right? So that will cost you, you know. So, it costs me as the springboard. So, Brother Alan Ferguson, I think, and I hope it doesn't sound boastful, Brother Rondell, I was the first pastor to support publicly the work of the Scrap Iron Dealers Association, when both the government and the opposition, all right, didn't seem to be too sure about their value. Let me tell you why. Brethren, I don't see myself as any perfectionist. But when you could have a gentleman like Alan, and I hope I could call him Alan, that's a friendship bridge there, Brother Ferguson, who could fight for the underdog. You see, because no hard feelings, brethren, I only hope the $100 million the Prime Minister going to dedicate to going into certain areas, brethren, to my mind, that is looking at crime from a blue-collar perspective. Brethren, what about the white-collar criminals? Because no boy from behind the bridge bringing in the cocaine and the guns. You have to have an effective business structure. So all I hearing about is blue-collar. How to arrest them, how to get the evidence, how to increase the murder rate. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, the real problem that we don't want to deal with is the godfather to the drug trade. And I will tell you why we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with that because we expect our politicians to be dependent upon them until the good master comes. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. The cocaine, the guns, the corruption in almost every institution. And I have a friend who's a lawyer called Clive Phelps. And you know what he says? He says when institutions break down, what is the judiciary, what is the police, what is the politicians, what is the church? When institutions break down, you know who suffers most? It's the young people in the society. They suffer most. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell the government and the opposition and our leaders that when we talk about crime, let us also mention white-collar crime. And the rich men in the society who are parasitic, mafiatic, crocodilian vampires who are polluting the streams of our young people and having them in what I call the 21st century narco economy, the plantation economy reborn. And that is a serious thing. So that's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make, parents, for God's sake. Parents, for God's sake. How we could bring up our children in a godless home and expect to have a godless society. How we could tell them the 10 Commandments don't matter at all. And they could behave how they want. They could be indecent, get pregnant at any age, curse people, have gang fights in school. How we could give that impression to young people and have a better society. A lawless and indisciplined nation cannot fight crime. And I want to emphasize that. Behind every corrupt public official, I tell people, is a businessman, an attorney, have mercy, and sometimes a politician. So that there are people in this country who feel, and I want to quote the French philosopher Ayn Rand. You know what Ayn Rand says? She says a nation is doomed when the law, instead of protecting the just from the corrupt, protects the corrupt from the just. I want to repeat that. A nation is doomed when the law, instead of protecting the just from the corrupt, it protects the corrupt from the just. And that is what has brought us. I on Facebook today, and I see Ken Ali saying, in Haiti, gangs are kidnapping busloads of people. Gangs have whole communities under control. And in Trinidad, and I'll come to Tobago in a short while, and in Trinidad, by the way, Tobago, don't let Trinidad spoil you. Don't let Tobago be your goal. Trinidad be your goal. There was a time in Tobago when you could leave your doors open. Up to recently, you can't take that chance now. And you have to contend with something called murder rate. Have mercy. And even this year, you've had murders already for January. So I am saying, when I hear about areas in Tobago that have guns, hello, Rondell, Sergeant Morris, it shatters me that there are areas in Tobago that you have guns, so somebody, some big mafiatic vampire from wherever they are, they're bringing in guns into the country. And I want to emphasize, there's a young lady, I am calling for a national adoption program. That is my solution, all right? I am calling for a national adoption program. That will include constitution reform, but you know what it will include? Baptists loving Catholics, Catholics loving Adventists, Adventists loving Hindus, Hindus loving Muslims. And don't think we can operate in silos and solve the crime problem. No one church, no one religion, no one profession can solve this crime problem operating independently of each other. We have to come together. That is why I appreciate the Single Fathers Association. Give him a special round of applause. And I have to tell you before I sit down about a 4-month-old child I have adopted. My latest grandchild. Spiritual grandchild. Folks, that I have adopted. But I want to talk about a girl in Tobago who I would give the order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to. A girl in Tobago. And I want to talk about her, and I'm talking about her right now. She approached me last year. She said, Pastor, I have children. She said, I was living common with a man until God woke up one day. And God told her, listen, walk away. Walk away. She was living with a guy for nearly a decade and didn't know he was a cocaine drug dealer. In Tobago. He's still in Tobago pushing drugs. Right now, he's still in Tobago pushing drugs. She says one day, one of his friends told her, you know something, Pastor? That guy you're living with is planning to kill you. That guy you're living with is planning to kill you. And he'll wipe you out and wipe out the children. You know, in Trinidad, they're killing pregnant women too, you know. Everything, that is what's happening. She said, Pastor, I am brave enough to follow God and walk away from that parasite who I lived with for almost a decade. And she said, by the way, Pastor, he has money here because he has lands which his parents have left for him, and he's converting those lands into a narco economy. I said, Lord have mercy. And Tobago, appreciate what you have. You still have some areas in Tobago that are pristine, pure. Preserve them. You know, Tobago, you might know this. In 1776, by a royal ordinance, 14,000 acres of land were declared protected. That's from 1776 till now. It's called the Main Ridge Forest Reserve. And there was a global environmentalist, all right, called Stephen Hales. Stephen Hales was the one who told the plantation owners in Tobago, all right?
Good afternoon, Tobago. Thanks for having me again. Well, I mean, we started to talk a little bit before when Sam was here. So you kind of have the understanding of the intimacy I have with Tobago. And as I said, it is not just a physical intimacy, it is more a spiritual intimacy, an emotional one, a mental one. And that was through my entrepreneurial journey, as I said, the absence of seeing Africans like myself endeavor into business, see us come together, group economy style, to form businesses like I saw the other races. It was not a normal thing to see until I started to come to Tobago and start seeing Tobagonians being business owners, Tobagonians being employers, Tobagonians owning big buildings. So you don't understand how empowering that is for a young black African boy to see that we could own too. And in my spirit, all I could think about is accountability. When will we all individually start to have some level of accountability? Because many times we have these crime discussions, fingers are pointing in all directions. The fathers and them in minding the children. The mothers in land, the father see the child. The musicians singing music about killing. The audience enjoying the music too. When are we all going to hold ourselves individually accountable? I could start. I could say that I know there are some fathers who shirk their responsibility. But I could say I know there are other fathers who take it up. I know there are mothers also who don't allow the fathers to see the child. But I know there are mothers also who make every effort for the father to be involved in the child life. I know there are also musicians who sing about killing and gunmen and this type of lifestyle that I still think is not right. But I know there are also positive musicians too. I know my brother King David from a long time. I know Sasha from a long time. I know Positive from a long time. I've seen Jazzy from a long time as well. Even though you might not know, I've seen him as well. But when are we all going to admit that we are all possibly going to take a position that we need to hold ourselves or the things we advocate for to some level of accountability? Because it seems to me that when we amalgamate all of them, the bad parenting is part of the problem. Not so? The mother and the father fighting down each other. That is all the children seeing. Daddy had to pay maintenance. If he miss the maintenance, even if he bring the food or whatever, he had to end up in jail. Daddy paying the maintenance all the time, but he don't want nothing to do with the children. The next side of it. When are we all going to realize that sometimes we have to critique within ourselves and the things we advocate for as well to see how we can get it better. Because it does irk me sometimes when everybody's saying fathers, 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 knowing that I just see a father sometimes on the last begging to see his child and they don't want him to see the child. But then I must also inside me realize as well that there must be some fathers that need to do better also, because fatherhood is important and instrumental. And we need that from the politician also. But let me talk, I've spoken in past gatherings about the value of fatherhood, the value of motherhood, the value of parenting. I've spoken in past sessions about the young black boy understanding the value of his life, the contribution he pays to society, the things that he could bring to the society, the innovative nature of blackness, and him understanding the value of his seed. Because many of us haven't been taught that as young black people. So sometimes it's easy, once we don't have the right mentorship, to get misled into criminal behavior, not knowing that when we die with our seed inside of us. I always bring reference to Martin Luther King's father, to Nelson Madiba, Mandela's father. Had they been careless with their seed, these black people who brought liberation to many black people could have died within them. It's time for us all, and I say I start with me, because I often used to take offense when we used to cry on fatherhood. But I could start from a position now to say I need fatherhood needs to improve. I believe fatherhood needs to improve, I believe motherhood needs to improve. I believe parenting needs to improve. I believe the music needs to improve. I believe that. I don't understand. It hurts me to see black brothers singing about killing our next black brother. What joy that could bring to you? What can it satisfy in you? And I can't blame the brothers alone who singing it too, if I'm honest, because I know a number of them. Some of them from by me, like Boy, and they will tell you they sung Janias before that were good, that had no violence, that had no killing, but we, the society, didn't enjoy it, didn't support them, didn't go to see them sing these songs, didn't give the song 1 million views, didn't go to the concerts when they sang positive things. So it leaves me to ask society, why do we have an appetite for song that involves killing each other? Because I guarantee you, if we in society had a better appetite, they would sing what they were singing before. I can tell you from personal testimony from the ones that I know. They will sing a positive song and they will get 10,000 views. But a negative one, for some reason, will get 10 million. So we cannot only say that they're singing negative music. We must ask ourselves what inside of us loves to hear it. Is it some trauma from generations handed down? Is it some issue? And we need to look at it culturally, because it can be historically that it has been passed down. Because when you look on the next genre or the next ethnicity, which is the East Indian, they love to sing about rum. And rum has brought some disaster to them at some point in time. And their families, and separation, and broken home. So when are we all going to take some level of accountability? Because we seem to be that we are all to blame. We understand we can blame the politicians for what they don't do also. And in defense, not to defend man too much, but I think I need to let people know, because we like to call on men to step up in this society. We call on men to be better fathers. But the non-custodial arrangement for a father who wants to be involved in his child life, when he's fighting to be involved, is 4 days a month. That is what the courts give you, the judicial system. So how you telling them to step up? In our policy that our state puts out in all its authorities, paternity leave is 2 to 3 days. So during the prenatal and postnatal stage of the birth of the child, you're giving the father no opportunity to bond with the child. But then you come on a podium and say, Father, step up. There's one authority that right now men have a month and a half. And it is because I am on the board, the Telecommunication Authority. And I said it is important that fathers be involved from the birth, the prenatal stage, the birth and the postnatal stage in their children's life if you want them to step up. The suicide rate of men, all you know what it is? From 2019 to 2021, we had over 320 something murders. 80% of those were men. If women were killing themselves in those record numbers, the United Nations would have fly in here with a program long time. But we want men to be...
Yes, certainly their viewers are bringing you some highlights coming out from the crime talks that took place there yesterday. Certainly, really important for us to continue to play that significant role there. We're hearing from the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Rondell Fields, really putting forward and making his very solid points there, very key at that, and continuing to make that significant contribution. Adana?
Yes, of course, just talking about the elements that contribute to the rise in crime. We just see the end result, but we really have to go to the root of what causes an increase in crime in our societies, in our communities, where we live and where we are. Things like music, things like family situation, trauma, and all these things we have to invest in to ensure that we understand what are the root causes. So those are some of the things he was talking about, bringing out the strong points there. And of course, the music that we listen to sometimes, of course, lends to that kind of negative behavior. So those are the things that he was talking about there, and also Pastor Dutton bringing out some incidents as well that relate to those things. So we really have to do some background, get some background information, do some research, and put things in place to intercept these things, and of course reduce the level of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And we got some news coming in that we'd like to do some quick highlights with before we get closer to the end this morning. And we're speaking firstly about the Tobago calendar of events for 2024, Tobago Carnival 2024. And the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited announces the calendar of events for National Carnival 2024 in Tobago. Parade grounds will be the home of the Interdepartment Show on February 1st, followed by National Medium Bands Final, which takes place on February 4th, before returning to the same venue on February 6th for the THA Pan Champs. The Tobago Junior Monarch will take place on February 9th at Goodwood Secondary School, followed by Kiddies Carnival in Scarborough on February 10th, and the Kiddies continues in Roxborough on February the 11th. The seniors will also enjoy their share of activities with Juve, Old Mass and Night Mass and Traditional Mass on Carnival Monday, while on Carnival Tuesday, spectators can look forward to the Senior Parade of Bands and Mud Mass, along with the judging of kings, queens and individuals. So certainly giving a reminder there in terms of the Tobago Carnival events lineup for 2024. And let me be clear, it's the National Carnival happening in Tobago, because I know we now have a Tobago Carnival. That's right. Later on. And we're heading straight on into the update with Interdepartment. Right, so not to be left out, the Interdepartment Carnival Competition 2024, the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited successfully staged Interdepartment Carnival Competition 2024 on parade on Friday 29th through the streets of Scarborough. Contestants, personalities and Calypsonians gathered at James Park before heading towards Main Street, onto Castry Street, Carrington Street and eventually Wilson Road before heading to TFCL office by GNV Place. Contestants brought their support as they danced, waved and paraded on a rainy but fun-filled afternoon. Each contestant took the opportunity to introduce themselves and encouraged persons to come witness the event. On Thursday, February 1st at the Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium, yes, Interdepartment Carnival Competition 2024 personalities from the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, Jerniel Williams, Division of Education, Research and Technology, Kidani O'Connor.
Make some noise.
That's right, your cousin there in the mix.
Very old.
That's right. And the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Crystal Sergeant Carter. Assembly Legislature, Alison Summers. Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Dwayne White Jr. Office of the Chief Secretary, Shaquille Sylvester. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Lyndon Lashley. Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection and Tobago Regional Health Authority, Elizabeth Nichols. Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Cameron Bruno. Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Kenisha Gomez. Office of the Deputy Chief Secretary, Kaya Trotman. Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, Ashaki Hercules. Office of the Prime Minister, Central Administrative Services, Tobago, Kemba Dinoon. And Interdepartment Carnival, this is just the personalities. Now we're talking about the Calypso competition participants. For the Division of Education, Research Technology, Corey's Wright Kerr. Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Sabrina Henry. Assembly Legislature, Marcus the Mighty Off Key Woods. That is something to look forward to. Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Daniel Batiste. Office of the Chief Secretary, Crystal George. Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Lynette Louis. Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection and the TRHA, Rhonda John. Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sports, Gary Batiste.
Make some noise.
That's right. Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, Samantha Braffett. And the tickets are available at the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited Bobtail Building there in Smithfield Plaza from Monday to Thursday. That is from yesterday, of course, up until Thursday when the event takes place from 9 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. So the tickets are available. The sale of tickets at the office on Thursday, February 1st will end at 12 noon. However, there will be tickets available at the venue for purchase in the evening. So that is the rundown there for what the Tobago the THA Interdepartment competition will look like this year. Those are your participants from all the divisions within the Tobago House of Assembly, as well as you're seeing coming out there from the TTPS as well.
Certainly they're
participating.
And that takes place on Thursday, folks, and happening today. It's the Tobago edition of B Square, being hosted by B Mobile, and this takes place today, Tuesday, the 30th of January 2024, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's the kind of event that you definitely do not want to miss. This is happening today, and this takes place right on the Esplanade. And I just want to make it clear to you, to provide you with all the information. Today's event will be carried live via Tobago Updates, and we will also be carrying the interdepartment competition live as well here on Tobago Updates on Tuesday. Both events which we just highlighted for you will be carried live on Tobago Updates, so we look forward to those highlights. Viewers, we want to thank you so much again for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And just before we head on out, we want to remind you, coming up next we have Tobago Notes followed by GMT. Take care and bye for now.
Let's get transformed together. a fitness program started under the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection to get its employees moving their bodies and eating healthier meals. After work during the week, staff participate in aerobics and dance sessions right on the division's compound. There are also hikes to various locations on the weekends or public holidays, and monthly weighing sessions.
I have been here from the beginning, but I mainly come on Tuesday. So I did the weighing and everything as well, and I'm enjoying the aerobic. It's excellent, right? So good workout. Her style is different, right? So you're getting the workout and I'm feeling it, and she's pushing you to your limit. So I like the challenge. I want to let people know that after the workout, you feel so excellent. It's a way of losing weight. It's a way of controlling. If you have any chronic disease, high blood pressure, sugar, it will help to keep them under control. So I encourage people to join.
I think it's a great initiative. Since that one of the leading causes of death in Trinidad and Tobago is obesity. So this initiative would really help out a lot of people.
I think it's a really great initiative because I believe since we push for health and healthy eating and healthy living, we should walk the walk, right? So we can't be the ones telling everybody we want to eat healthy, be healthier, and then we are not doing what we say that telling people that they should do.
Even though we are office workers, we too face a lot of demands, a lot of stress levels during the day. So as I would have shared earlier, it's a nice way to unwind and de-stress before you get home to your various responsibilities. I would encourage the Tobago House of Assembly to continue initiatives such as this, because working in healthcare, our mental and emotional health is something that is vital, and the balance is critical.
We have a contest that goes along with it. Everybody took their way in to start. You check your blood pressure to start. You check your numbers. And we want to measure the progress as we go along. We are professionals. This is the Division of Health. So we have dietitians who are monitoring the group, and they would do the checks every now and then to see, so you know how you're progressing, if you're losing any weight. Of course, weight loss is 20% exercise. Weight loss is 80% diet. So this is just the motivator.
This fitness and nutrition initiative is open to all employees of the Tobago House of Assembly. For more information about this program, visit the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection's Facebook page.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Tobago is mourning the loss of cultural stalwart, educator, and historian Keneta Bob. The news of her passing was shared via the Scarborough Secondary School Alumni Association's Facebook page yesterday. As a former teacher at Scarborough Secondary, Bob earned recognition as Tobago's teacher icon from the Tobago Unified Teachers Association tutor in 2018. Additionally, Cradley Trace in the Scarborough Calder Hall district was renamed in her honor. In August 2023, she was awarded by the Tobago Empowerment Alliance Mission Incorporation for mentoring numerous students in cultural arts. And up next, the Tobago Motorsport Association condemns the unauthorized drifting incident within the Tobago's Main Ridge Forest Reserve, as seen in a video circulated on social media. The activity was not sanctioned by the TMA, according to its president, Dexter Sandy. It prompted an emergency meeting to discuss disciplinary actions against those involved. TMA rejects the use of public roads without proper authorization, particularly in protected areas, and underscores the importance of adherence to legal regulations. The association said it remains committed to promoting responsible motorsport in Tobago, stressing the importance of discipline and environmental respect among its members. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington, D.C. Discussions covered energy, education, crime prevention, and national security, with particular focus on firearms trafficking. They addressed historical and emerging issues related to Venezuela, cybersecurity, and Haiti's instability. Dr. Rowley also discussed an economic partnership with U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai. The United States remains Trinidad and Tobago's largest trading partner. Several government officials, along with the Chief of Defense Staff of Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, Air Vice Marshal Daryl Daniel, also attended the meetings. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And viewers, now for the next hour, we are going to be speaking with the chairman of the Study Park Enterprises Limited, or SPEL, as it's become known in our space, and that's Mr. Ashworth Jack, as we discuss some of the things coming out of SPEL, and particularly some of the things that came out of the last plenary sitting. Now, but before we go into that, first of all, good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Jack. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Candace. Good morning, Tobago, and all who are being on the World Wide Web.
Now, and of course, I just want to start with, I don't know if you, want to share anything about Miss Keneta Bob and her passing that, we unfortunately received the news of yesterday.
I think I want to do two things. Anyone who have been around the space long enough have had the opportunity to have interacted with Miss Bob, and I am no different. People like Miss Bob, people like Dr. Ethan McKenzie have made such a valuable contribution, not only to Tobago's education, but to the sphere of culture. And I think that Tobago is losing a lot of its cultural icons. One of my concerns, though, is how much of the information that these cultural icons have are we filming, putting on tape, so that we can use it to help future generations of cultural persons in this cultural space to probably look at as a foundation for their own future endeavors. But I think on behalf of my family, I would want to extend to the family of Miss Keneta Bob our greatest condolences. I know that Keneta Bob lived a very full life. Since I'm on air and doing that, I also want to extend condolences to the family of a former member of staff at SPEL, a young man who left work at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and by 3:30 he was dead. Nico Williams, and I want to extend to Nico's family condolences from on my own behalf, and on behalf of SPEL. Nico will be buried tomorrow in Plymouth.
Well, thank you for that. Now, but getting into our conversation this morning, and of course, we're speaking about SPEL, and it's come under the microscope quite a bit, especially with each plenary sitting. There were questions posed to the line secretary, of course, and that's Mr. Trevor James, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. And there was a particularly focus, I'm going to start with the particular focus on the construct of the board, because that question had been on the table for months and so on. And then, you know, finally at last Thursday's sitting, you know, the secretary was able to show and so on. But, you know, why do you think that there was such an obsession, first of all, with the board?
Because Ashworth Jack is on the board. Why else? I've had boards for the last 6 years, and there have never been this level of obsession with the board. Basically because Ashworth Jack is on the board, you know. And but one of the things that I find interesting is that regardless of what people say about the board, if you notice whatever was said about it, and I'm going to answer another question that the minority leader would have raised a little later in this program. One of the things that Tobagonians have been saying for the last 8 or so months is that it's the most information they've ever had from SPEL. They have never known the potential of SPEL the way it is today, right? And that is because the board is led by competence. There's a difference between paper and competence. And I think what the minority leader aim is to ask, does Ashworth Jack have a degree? The answer is no. So I answer the question, so Trevor will have to answer it. But if you want to ask if Ashworth Jack has competence, look at what is happening in SPEL, and that will answer itself.
And, you know, I mean, there was such a fixation that was interesting because we know the potential of SPEL, and we've had this conversation quite a number of times about what SPEL has the potential to produce, what the foreign revenue that it has the potential to bring in. However, there are some steps before we can get there, and there was also some concern about even how the previous chairman left the board and so on. And I'm not too sure if you want to address that at this point in time.
Which one was the previous chairman?
Mr. David Walker.
You see, there's a mix-up between the chairmanship and the GM. Okay. And that is the problem. The term of the board came to an end. And therefore, because the term of the board came to an end, there is not a controversy about if the secretary or the exec council wishes to reappoint persons. When my term comes to an end, I might be one of those persons that the exec council saying, hey, you doesn't fit the bill. And I have to understand that my appointment is for a specific time, right? If you notice, I try to stay away from that because it really doesn't help us. I think people need to understand that, you know, it was 2 days ago I was prompted to put something on my timeline. And I want to share it this morning. Everything in life, inclusive of life itself, is temporary. And until we understand that, we wouldn't think that we own anything. I have known people who started governments and they are no more. Either they have been voted out of government or they're passed. I've known, look at the greatest inventors of whatever time. We read about them in history, they know more. Everything, even life is temporary. And so I have accepted that. Everything is temporary. And therefore, don't expect me to be fighting for stuff that is not life. I am going to fight for life, and that's basically what it is.
And I mean, there was also the matter of the company vehicle brought up.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, you know. I've avoided speaking about a number of things in SPEL because it didn't show people in a very good light. in terms of maybe not the personality, but in terms of management style, management skills, and stuff like that. But every time something comes up, it tells you part of the problem that we have is that people don't know where you came from. And because they don't know where you came from, people come up with all these fairy tale stories and stuff like that. And this morning, I aim to clear up some of the misconceptions of spell. I aim to continue pointing spell in a certain direction. As long as I'm executive chairman of spell, I will point spell in a certain direction. If the government thinks, in this case the government is the Tobago House of Assembly, thinks that is the direction they want to continue to go, then I'm free to continue serving on spell. And if they think that, no, we want to go in another direction, and then they are free to say, look, this is the direction you want to go. One way or the other, it is a choice that has to be made.
All right. Now let's talk about where spell is right now. Now, if I recall, one of the last conversations that you had,
and that's part of the problem. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you, but I want to do this. Part of the problem why people think spell was easy to deal with is that we didn't deal with where spell came from. And so I want to take a little time deal with some of the issues of spell in the last couple of years. And then I want to deal with where we are and the projections for the future. Right? Spell consists of a number of different sections that I would have mentioned. We have the concrete batching plant. We have the asphalt batching plant. We have the plants that does the crushing of the material. And we have the lab. We also have the jetty. Right?
And that's at Study Park.
All part of jetty, of Study Park. And all of them has potential to be revenue earners. And the question that we must ask ourselves are, one, have Study Park been making money? Two, why it have not been making money? Three, which one of these four things that I've just identified have been self-sustaining? And which ones were, and if any were, what lessons that we learned from them? And if not, why weren't any of these profitable or self-sustaining? And I want to kind of just touch that a bit. And I want to start with the jetty. Anybody who understands how a jetty operates will know that a jetty has the potential to be a revenue earner. And the question we must ask ourselves is, why has Study Park Jetty not been a revenue earner, except for, one, people who want to purchase material from Study Park that uses the jetty, and of course that attracts what you call a throughput fee once material is going on of $2 US per ton. Or if you're bringing in something, which is rare, there is a flat fee that must be paid. And so the question is, we operate 365, I'm not sure where the quarter day is. Because they always tell us we have 365 and a quarter day a year. But I'll never live a quarter day, so I'm not sure the quarter comes from. But how many of these days do we have activities on the jetty? And so traditionally the jetty has not been very busy. And one must ask themselves, or one must ask oneself, why haven't the jetty been a lot more active? Is it that we're not importing enough stuff in Tobago? Is it that the Scarborough port is large enough? Those questions we must ask ourselves. And we know the Scarborough port is not large enough. And so my information is that there have been times in the past where there have been companies who have requested to either partner with Study Park to bring stuff into the jetty, and they have been told no. I don't want to release the name of one of those companies yet, but in a couple of weeks.
So why is that? Why is there that restriction, especially for construction materials?
Personalities. There's some personality crashes, because there's one situation, and I was going to raise it. Mm-hmm. We are in talks right now with a major supplier of material to Tobago. And that's why I don't want to call the name, is because it's at the very early stages of that discussion. I would meet with them sometime next week. We should be able to wrap up those discussions. They would like to use the jetty to bring in material that is scarce, and when the time comes, you'll understand why. It's always scarce in supply, but it's necessary. And they're looking at using the jetty at least 3 days a week. And it's a long-term arrangement, a long-term contract. What we have not yet agreed on is the cost of using the facility. Because it only looks so the facility is costly to maintain. But good business practice will also tell us that if the facility have not been used, it will also deteriorate. So we need to strike a mean between, yes, saying the going price is this, and saying, okay, we can compromise to ensure that the jetty is always in use and we can make some money from it, of course.
I just want to clarify something. So is Study Park fully in charge of how the jetty operates?
Yes,
and so on? But you're saying also that you need to talk to other companies?
No,
like, I'm trying to understand,
other companies want to use the jetty.
Okay.
They want to bring in material. And that is where the discussion is taking place. For them to have the use of the material, the cost of the for using the jetty, and of course what other pieces of equipment we will need in order to facilitate the use of the jetty by that company or companies.
So basically the Study Park Enterprises Limited is open to using the jetty as free as companies see fit?
Yes, of course. And of course I just want to throw this in. That jetty was constructed in 1999-2000.
By Mr. Hochai Charles?
By Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, the Chief Secretary, I was in charge of works, and we constructed that jetty. And it used to be used to export material to Guyana, Suriname, since back then. And that was so, the jetty was constructed because those trucks used to come into Scarborough, where the fish port is now, and the barges used to come in that area and load. And we found it was creating a problem for the traffic, because when a truck driver is running by loads, paid by loads, you understand his haste to get in and out, or whether the quarry back to the port and stuff like that. And we saw it as creating a dangerous situation for the other users of the road. So we took a decision to construct a jetty in that Barbados Bay area, which is now called Study Park Jetty.
All right, and now, so what else is happening in terms of the production side of things at Study Park?
So what I'm doing, I'm going on facility by facility. So the jetty is going to, as I said, once everything works out, we should be able to make the jetty profitable starting in the next couple of weeks. Right? Because, as I said,
and how much profit are we talking?
Company. We are in negotiation in terms of cost. Okay. The company wants to use the jetty at least 3 times a week, which puts us in a very good place. I am told that that company had approached a previous administration. They turned them down. They also went to build a warehouse in Study Park to store that material. And there was some discussion. The board would have agreed, and then one person said no, because that person had a grievance with the company. So that is how we ran Tobago, on personalities. And so Tobago, Study Park, and by extension Tobago, lost a lot of revenue because one person had a grievance with that company. And so they decided, no, we're not allowing you the use of it. That is no more. Then we can come to the concrete batching plant.
Yes.
And the concrete batching plant, anywhere in the world, once properly run concrete batching plants make money. But there have been a situation where a former secretary of the assembly instructed Study Park not to sell material to anybody but the THA. And not only just the THA, Works Division. And so that, to compound that, there was a concrete pump truck which is needed according to how far the stuff is from being able to access, how high the building is. They took a decision and they sold the concrete pump truck. So what happens is that even to sell to the Division of Infrastructure, according to where the concrete is needed, they still have to buy it from a private person, although Study Park makes.
And use another company's equipment.
And use another company's pump truck, or buy the concrete from the company altogether. And that has been happening. In fact, the private companies have been making much more money from the division of infrastructure than Spell have been, because we do have a pump truck. When you see the price that the pump truck was sold for at the time, it's laughable. It's I think at 1.3 million. A concrete pump truck, a new concrete pump truck, with a 25 half-foot boom will cost us about $5 million. And we gave one away. And that truck was bought new. So at some point there was a vision to buy this pump truck, set this business up. And I guess I was on one of the early boards of Study Park, had that vision. And somewhere down the road, the secretary decides, no, you're not to compete with the private sector. But yet you set up a company.
So
it is not the division,
are we
it's a company.
the concrete batching plants?
Right, so that's here where we are. On projects that are low and easy to access, we are already available to sell concrete, and we have been doing that. And we are in the market for a concrete pump truck, and I will show you why that is taking a little longer than we have expected.
All right, and we'll get into that when we come back after the break. So viewers, please don't go anywhere.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
You want to be bad, don't tell you be hip. On the road you behind, the truck it go be great. If you want to feel alive, then switch to the winning side. You see how we move in style, is a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe with Be Mobile.
Come and see what plan you could get. See what plan you could get. Come and see what plan you could, see what plan you could, see what plan you could get. All of the plan the best, all of the plans the best. Come and see what plan you could, see what plan you could. Be Mobile. Top it up, 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 top it up. Only we buying bundles. Top it up, 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 top it up.
It's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe with Be Mobile.
Hey, as you come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla. I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning with the chairman of the Study Park Enterprises Limited, SPEL, and that's none other than Mr. Ashworth Jack, as we discuss what's going on there at the company. Now, before we went into the break, we started speaking about the concrete batching plant. That was originally an idea that started around the time of Mr. Ho Choi Charles when he was chief secretary and so on. However, that sort of fell away over the last 20 or so years. But Mr. Jack was just telling us that they are working on reviving it, which means purchasing certain bits of equipment and so on. So, Mr. Jack,
I like to be fair. Let me clarify a point here. The concrete batching plant was only put in when SPEL was born, which is about 6 or 7 years ago. The Study Park quarry was done by Ho Choi in the late 80s, early 90s, but the concrete batching plant was done by the former administration.
Okay.
Right? But what they did is that they built it, and then another secretary came in and said, no, do not sell any concrete to the public. They sold the concrete pump truck and stuff like that. So the original idea was a good one. I will be the first to say that. Right? So we had that situation where the concrete pump truck was sold, and so SPEL could not have done what it was mandated to do in the first place, and so it came all along the way to now. It falls in our lap to try to get that sorted out. And I was talking about the cost. They sold the truck for $1.something million just about 3 or so years ago. The truck now costs $5.something million to purchase one, and so we're looking at that. Then there's also the situation where there is the asphalt or the hot mix plant, and originally that was up at Goldsboro, and so when SPEL was made as one company, that was also moved to Stutley Park. And I thought that the idea of putting all these things in the same place was a good idea, and all these things are things that private sector is operating successfully. And so all it needed was the proper management, which would, as part of the management scheme, would include your proper maintenance, look at the cost of operation, the number of employees needed, that kind of stuff. Now, how many hours can be worked, because you cannot work a concrete batching plant on a 7-to-4 basis. Anybody who understands construction knows that you need to work it sometimes in the night, according to what type of concrete you're pouring, because you don't want it to dry off too quickly, according to the magnitude of concrete and stuff that you're doing. But we have a 7-to-4 operation. And so things like those we need to revisit, and we are revisiting with a view of becoming part of the construction sector, a provider of service for the construction sector. And we have, as I said, we moved to the asphalt plant. The asphalt plant, beside doing stuff for works, and if you recognize, the asphalt plant was never able to fully provide for the needs of the division, right? The division of infrastructure, because there have always been private partners that came in, Trad Contractors, CRM Brothers, a number of private partners. But even when you have Tobago contractors that were purchasing hot mix, there was a disparity in cost. And that was another problem. Works division, because they owned, or what is now called the division of infrastructure, before they originally owned the facilities, were given a preferential rate. And there was one other contractor who was related to a secretary that demanded to get the same rate as Works. And the secretary called and instructed Study Park to give them the same rates as Works. Everybody else had to pay. And of course, they were not selling to us, a lot of other people. So that again interrupted the pattern, the sale. So now everyone except Works pays the same price. We are setting up to do the hot mix for the California Soco for the road and Friendship.
Keneta Road.
Yeah, we should start doing the production of the hot mix for that as far as they're ready. Right? We have already started spotting material, trying to bring in enough asphalt, stuff like that, bitumen, stuff like that, because it costs for a lot of bitumen. Of course, you know, the problem with the boat.
Yes.
And of course, it's not that you will have storage space for 16, 17 tank trainers, because you will not have use for it on a regular basis.
Now, the hot mix that's being produced at Study Park there, is that only to remain to supply the Tobago market, or is it ever being considered?
No, it can be exported. We need to understand how hot mix work. Hot mix have to be put down at a certain temperature. If it doesn't go down at that temperature, once it falls below that, it either get hard in the truck, or if you put it down any at all, it will start cracking up, start falling apart, because it went down too cool. And so there's a difference between a hot mix and a cold mix. Right? So the hot mix have to go down at a certain temperature. It always mystifies me when I see rain falling and I see them paving the road. Because I know it wouldn't last, because it falls below the temperature. In fact, if you go to a lot of the metropolitans and stuff like that, you will recognize them testing the heat of the hot mix, because if it falls below a certain temperature, it is rejected, because it will not give you the life expectancy. So yes, it is and that's why I call a hot mix. It must go down at a certain temperature. It goes into this drum. The drum is fired, so there's fire taking place at keeping it at a certain temperature, and then it goes. If it goes down too cold, it is damaged. You go down too hot, it burns, and then you have the same effect.
All right, so for the rest of the year, what's the goal in terms of, production for the hot mix and stuff, and what can be gained? Hot mix,
what we're doing right now is that I know that the Division of Infrastructure is in the market for a spreader, and that is what is keeping back a lot of their use of additional hot mix. But in the meantime, we have an order for 7,000 tons to do the road of California circle. That's an initial order. The truth is, we are hoping that the order goes up, but that will be a substantial sale, and we are hoping that Works get its spreader, and so a lot of the roads that now are in dire need of repair, once the spreader is had, they can start to repair some of those roads, because we will be in a position to provide the necessary hot mix. We have three tanks now that holds the asphalt or the bitumen. We will be installing another 2 or 3, so we'll be able to hold enough of the bitumen on site in case there's a situation where the vessel doesn't sail and stuff like that. And of course, you notice what's happening now. There seems to be now a Caribbean wide.
Oh, I have that question in mind to see how we can.
Tobago is going to suffer when that boat goes off to the rest of the Caribbean, and so we have to look in mind, take that on board, and do the preparation. All these things cost money. All is the idea of somebody who do have a degree according to them.
No, I mean, and as we're talking about the money, I know that there was some allocation made to SPEL in the recent budget and so on. So that's the money that you guys are using to acquire these pieces of equipment.
The thing about that, it is for about $2 million or $3 million.
Somewhere about
it can't buy it can't even buy one pump truck, but we are grateful. And the intention is to, at the end of this financial year, maximum the next financial year, nothing. We should not be taking money from the THA at all. Right. We should be giving THA money. And that is what we are aiming to do now, because of the potential of the company to make money. And that's why we're focusing on going back out to the sale use of the jetty for economic purposes and stuff like that. Because you can't have this great potential and then still go cap in hand every year begging, taking money from agriculture and all the others that need this money to build them up in order that they too can become financially viable in some areas. And of course, places like education and stuff where it's a social service, they will need the money more than SPEL that could make money.
Certainly. And now let's turn now to the crushing plants and so on that are there. I know there was some equipment that was replaced and so on.
Repaired.
Repaired, yes, repaired.
We are in the process of replacing. We need to replace at least the Nordberg. The Nordberg is a 54-year-old plant and poorly maintained for most of the 34 years. And so what is happening is that you will spend in inordinately large sums of money on the Nordberg today. You said, okay, we could run for another 2 weeks, and boom, the next day, something else goes. The dryer drum goes. A conveyor is bad. And so what we took the last couple of, my board took the last couple of months and looked at the Nordberg, and we are saying, listen, this thing is problematic. As much as we want to run the plant as much as we could, but it is costing too much. We are now looking at the figures, and we are coming to conclude that it will be cheaper for us to purchase a plant and use the money that we're using to maintain the Nordberg to pay the installments on the plant than to continue running the plant. Part of the problem that is that in Nordberg, we recognize that when I got in there's not a maintenance schedule for any plant. So there are no preventative maintenance. So all that is breakdown maintenance. Something had to go bad. And of course, once one thing goes bad, it has something else. So by the time you fix one thing, something else goes bad and stuff like that. So we are in the process of providing what is the costing for that, and how we will be able to pay for the new plant. Or plants. I would prefer plants because of the demand for it, not only nationally but regionally. Yes. And I'm going to get to that, and but it also speaks to the issue of negotiations and the government's agreement on a license to export material. Because if we have a license to export material, or we have the agreement that we can export this material, it means that we could use that contract to be able to borrow the money that we need to buy the plant. So right away, there is a predictable source of income that will allow you to pay for the plant, and pay for it 10 times over, because we have the orders coming all the time. Up to last week, we had a major contractor who is doing the waterfront in San Fernando. They come in to buy, when I was 75 or more than 75,000 tons of stone, stuff like that. So there's no doubt as to the potential of the plant in order to produce. But when you set up a business like Study Park, it's not $1 million business, it's a multi-million-dollar business. So you have to, one excavator, according to the size of it, could cost you $3 million, according to the size. If you have a 400, or if you have a 600, that's probably between university and $4 million. We're talking about the pump truck for $5-point-something million. So those things, they have to be a major capital injection. And that will come with either one, the state putting it in, which is not something that we really want, or two, we have no objection, so that we can be able to purchase these equipment, knowing very well that we will get the necessary license in order to export the material, to make that money back and to make a much needed foreign exchange.
And just to be clear, so Study Park does not have an export license right now?
No, it does not.
And when was the last time did it have one?
In the last administration. This administration have not been able to secure a license.
And this is even after recent meetings
all the discussion,
with the Ministry
of Trade, everything. There have been promises, and I hope that the promises are fulfilled. But when things go too long, I don't call them promise anymore. I call them a threat. They threatened to give us a license, but nothing has happened. And so we're still hoping that good sense will prevail, because when Study Park does well, Tobago does well, Tobago does well. And so I think that sometimes what you see is a competition that's taking place to say, I will make sure that I starve you for funds. And if I starve you for funds, then there's very little you can do. And then, of course, at the end of reading my budget, I'm going to tell you, good luck.
Now, when the last conversations that we had about the Study Park Enterprises Limited was that there was an audit that was supposed to take place, or that took place at the quarry, that they hinged, whether or not they should have an export license on it. And of course, this audit was to determine what taxes and royalties needed to be paid by Study Park. Were you able to give us the results of that?
Let me share it with you. It's interesting that the Study Park quarry, one of the reasons that they were saying they were holding is because the Study Park didn't pay the taxes. But they never did the audit. The audit was only finished in December. Interestingly, the audit went as far back as 2018. So there was no hurry to audit Study Park until now. When we received the bill for the audit, it's $4,804,176.89. That is what they're saying that we need to pay in royalties from 2018. But we're not getting a license. How are you going to make that money in order to pay, to buy the equipment to pay? But interesting, in January we got another bill. And the other bill came for performance and rehabilitation bond. My information that there have never been one, but also suddenly there's a need for it. And that's another $2,918,619. So altogether, just over $7 million the government is demanding in taxes. But I do have a problem with that. All I'm saying is that if you want us to pay all these stuff, then allow us to be able to sell and make the money to pay, one. And two, the law tells me that all businesses operating in Tobago must pay their taxes in Tobago. That's what Act number 40. Because you all give me such little time this last night and this morning for this, I didn't get to pull the exact section. But under finances, in Act number 40, it says that all business operating in Tobago must pay the taxes in Tobago. So even if this comes up, this is money that we should pay in Tobago. But it's the THA's quarry, and the THA rehabilitation, it's the THA have to do it. So you tell the THA, put up a rehabilitation bond to pay to rehabilitate what they already have responsibility to rehabilitate.
So
not only that, because of where that quarry is, if that quarry is properly managed, and any of the quarries that we have or will set up in Tobago, when we finish taking off the competent material, those quarries can be made into housing estates because they're going to be flat, or they will have different shelves, really nice area. So some of these things are just, it's just verbal gymnastics.
So have you had any conversation with the ministry now that they had the audit since December?
No, well, no. Well, the ministry don't converse with you. They should send you a bill and say, okay, this is it. So the intention now is to reach out and say, listen, how do we do this? How do we deal with that? Because if I'm chairman, I do intend to break the law.
Of course.
And send any money to Trinidad. The money must stay in Tobago. And you can't tell Tobago that we're looking for autonomy. At the same time tell you, but I am taking away these responsibilities from you. So no, I do intend to do that.
Okay.
Any checks made from Study Park to pay for anything will be made to the Tobago House of Assembly Fund. Simple as that.
Now, what can you also tell us about what the Study Park quarry was able to bring in over the past year?
Okay, I would not be able to give the exact figures right off and because we're doing the audit right now, but I can tell you some things. For example, let me start with the foreign exchange. When I took over as chairman of the Study Park quarry, I hope the minority leader is listening. Study Park, we had a loan from First Line Security. The loan was broken into two parts, a US and a TT. The TT was being serviced, but we could not get any money from our bankers to pay the US part of it, and that was going on for more than a year. So Study Park was in arrears, close to $100 and something thousand, and of course there were penalties. Study Park US account stood at the time at $3,900, and so of course I think to service the loan was about $6,000 a month, but all that was $3,000 something for more than a year and a half. When I came into this position, we started negotiating with China Railway, who's in the airport, because they get paid from the government in US. And so my position was clear. If they're paying you in US, you pay me in US. Of course, we negotiated it, and China Railway was, we agreed, and China Railway decided to pay for a lot of its material in US. I am pleased to announce that Study Park, in its US account, as we stand today, has over $600,000 US in our US account. But that's not all. When I came into Study Park, there were pieces of equipment out of the country. There was a drifter in Miami that was sitting in Miami for nearly a year. They couldn't pay for it because they had no US. The original cost was $28,000 to repair it. Right? In order to repair that drifter with all the other penalties and stuff like that, it cost us it was 38,000, sorry, not 28, 38,000. We now had to pay $61,000 US because they charge us rent for keeping it there and all that. That was paid. The loan is paid off. Both parts of the loan is totally paid off. The amount that we paid off for the loan was $150,000 or $151,000 US for the principal and interest, and between $28,000 and $29,000 in penalties. So we paid just about between $170,000 and $180,000 US. And even after paying all those, we still have in our account and buying other stuff that we needed, because one of the things that we have was a problem in getting US to buy some of the stuff. So we are paying more for it in Trinidad. So we are now purchasing some stuff for ourselves. And with all that being said, and all those activities taking place, we have still been able to have a saving in our account in terms of our US account in the vicinity of 620, it was 630 something, and we paid for something a couple of years ago. So it's about 631,000 US.
So, in other words, Study Park is standing in a good position at this point in
Study
time.
Park is better than it was. We have a whole long way to go. Study Park, once all the other stuff are in place, Study Park can move mountains. Tobago will benefit immensely. As I said to you a while ago, we have orders for armored rock out of Trinidad, which we are supplying. When I came the last time, I also spoke about NITCO, and we had a lot of material for NITCO. I am pleased to announce that any material we have for NITCO is because NITCO haven't come to collect it.
All right, and we'll get more into that when we come back after this very quick break. So please don't go anywhere.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Ansa Makal Group.
It's your boy Harry from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Tobago Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee, as we are matching or beating any quotations. Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning with the chairman of the Study Park Enterprises Limited, Spell, as we discussed, just what's been going on. Now, of course, just before we went to the break, Mr. Jack explained that, Study Park is actually in a better position, having paid off a bunch of its loans and having to have a substantial amount in its US dollar account, a total of $600,000.
Yeah, just about 600.
Just about 600,000 US dollars specifically. Yes. So now moving on to the projections for this year, we have some concerns coming up, particularly that of the EME in terms of how does a study park operate?
Okay, that's an interesting question, because I think that we're having more scrutiny from the EMA based on my conversation with the persons who are responsible for it on the plans than we have ever had. Right? We also, one of the things that we need to do is an air quality test. There was a company who charged us around 100 and something thousand to do the air quality test. We discovered that there are other companies who do it a bit cheaper. Then we did get it a lot cheaper from another company, so about 30 something thousand for the same quality air quality test. All of a sudden, we discovered that the same people who have been accepting the same test results in Trinidad is telling us that we need to do over some of these same tests. And then, of course, this Trinidad and Tobago is a small place, and we discovered that some of the persons who have bid for us before, they seem to be the persons who are preferred because of their connections in some of these agencies. Mm-hmm. So when the supplier of the service got the information, they brought and said, listen, I've been doing this for other people, look at this, we never had a problem. So I don't know if these are manufactured problems or Tobago is a special case. Mm-hmm. That Tobago must have the most pristine environment in the world. And we agree with that, but we must not be treated unfairly. So those are some of the problem we see creeping up. Every time we think that we're moving forward, every time we see ourselves moving into a a better place. There's a roadblock that is thrown up. But we will navigate them. We'll navigate them. And then, of course, I have noticed that there's a pattern. So, and a couple of months ago, there was a question in the House. And by the time the question came up, I got a request from the Freedom of Information Act for the same information from someone. So I realized that there's a collaboration between the minority and this person. And of course, that person have a problem with me. I took over from them. So there's a problem with that. And then you look again and you realize that people, and that's why I started by talking about people thinking that everything in life is permanent. We're in temporary positions. There will be a time that Ashworth Jack is going to be the former chairman of SPEL. Just like I was former minority leader and former member of the assembly for 16 years. And everyone in this assembly, everyone is going to become a former except God comes. And nobody could question my competence, or they could question it, but they can't prove me incompetent. The airport in our Robinson International Airport, that was Ashworth Jack. The acquisition of the Adelphi estate in Mason, that was Ashworth Jack. The late flight into Tobago, that was Ashworth Jack. The restarting of the discussion on the constitutional reform, that was Ashworth Jack. You name it. I mean, I have a history of success that is longer than both my arms. You know? So right, I don't know if people think success does grow on paper. That's so.
Well, Mr. Jack, we are out of time for this morning, but I just want to thank you for spending this time for the past hour just going through in detail, quite a lot of detail about what's been going on at the study park, what's happened over the past few years, where it is now and where it is going. And we're definitely going to have more of this conversation as we go on. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you very much on behalf of Study Park for giving us the opportunity to discuss some of these matters. I want to close by saying that the board of directors and the members of Study Park know that we are not perfect, and that there's a lot more that would be done if we were to become world class. And but we are determined to get there.
Great. All right, thank you. And then viewers, of course, thank you for viewing, and hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say